We're incredibly thankful and grateful to our generous sponsors for their support of this incredible event. You know, our goal from the very beginning was to always bring together the brightest minds in the AI industry to solve great problems. And with over 600 attendees today, we've certainly achieved that. I'd especially like to thank our titanium sponsor, Zeta Venture Partners, for believing in this from the very beginning and helping us get started. Additionally, I'd love to thank our platinum sponsors, Affinity, Amazon Web Services, and TRG. Our gold sponsors, Lightspeed Venture Partners, NEA, and Wells Fargo AI Enterprise Solutions. And our silver sponsors, Accenture, Acero Capital, General Catalyst, Mentors Fund, and NASDAQ. Please join me in giving them a round of applause for their sponsorship. And outside in the expo area, if you haven't already looked at it, there's some great booths from our sponsors that have amazing swag and lots of great things to look at, so please check that out before the end of the day. All right, it's now my pleasure to introduce our next Tim Talk speaker, Swami Shivasubramanian. Swami is Vice President of AI at Amazon and leads all AI and machine learning initiatives within Amazon Web Services. In particular, that includes products like Amazon Lex, Amazon Poly, and Amazon Rekognition. Prior to this work, he was GM of NoSQL database services and analytics at AWS, where he built large-scale cloud computing platforms. Swami is one of the main authors of the Amazon Dynamo paper, along with Amazon CTO Werner Vogels. This paper was published in SOSP 2007 and became the foundation for several other NoSQL stores. Swami holds more than 150 patents, and he has more than 20 pending patent applications. Please welcome Swami to the stage.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hello, everyone. So I had the job of giving the first talk after lunch, so I should try to be very brisk. Anyway, so just to kick things off, so when I was asked to give a talk about future of AI, so what does it mean actually? Where will we go from here? Because AI is pretty much all the buzz everywhere. So, and if anybody says I'm using deep learning for something, that means you have solved all the problems that haven't even been solved yet. So now let's look at what does it mean to demystify this space. So I'm starting with the customary definition of what artificial intelligence is, just to kind of baseline. So this is, I claim no credit, it's a standard definition picked out of Wikipedia. So any AI system is a system or service that performs tasks that usually require human intelligence, either to see or speak or hear, understand, translate, reason, and so forth. So what does that actually mean for something like Amazon? In Amazon, we have like thousands of people working on various AI technologies. Before, we used to call them AI. So right from like when you're clicking, ship me something. When you click that button, you actually get an order entered into Amazon.com e-commerce platform. And one of those orders is actually fulfilled by a robot using computer vision and deep learning technologies, which moves the package and hands it off to somebody who does the packaging. So we've been using it for fulfillment and logistics, and we have been using it for search and discovery. So right from around 1996, this was 20 years ago, or I guess 21 years ago, we used to do machine learning driven recommendation systems for what books to read for our customers when we had probably less than 1 million books. And we have been using machine learning systems to improve existing products, like Amazon Instant Video. This is a system which uses computer vision deep learning to augment. For instance, I don't know how many of you have seen the X-ray feature, where you can freeze any frame and find out who are all the actors in a given frame, and then get some more background information around it. All these are automatically done at any given frame using, again, computer vision techniques. And the final one is new products. I mean, the promise of AI is not just to actually make existing things a little better. It can potentially create new experiences that were not possible before. So one of them is Amazon Echo, or We call it Alexa. So Alexa uses state-of-the-art automatic speech recognition and natural language understanding. In a plain speak, it is that we can understand what a person talks to the device from speech form. So in my house, my 2-year-old daughter, she knows 3 words, or rather she now knows more, but she calls 3 people in the home: Mom, Dad, and Alexa. She just walks up to everything. She just walks up to everything and says, Alexa, turn on TV. And if it doesn't turn on, she looks at me saying, like, what's wrong with you? Why is this not Alexa-fied? So that's the world we live in. I mean, we live in a world where we expect, a certain level of basic intelligence that exists. Again, I'm using the word basic because there is a lot more remarkable things that can be coming. The other one is Amazon Go. I pick up my lunch maybe like once or twice a week here. So Amazon Go is an checkout-less retail store experience. This is something where this is a store like this where you walk in and just scan your mobile phone as you enter, and then pick stuff as you actually walk along what you like. And then at some point, if you change your mind and you say, hey, Swami, you probably shouldn't be eating a cheesecake, then put it back. You're not going to get charged for stuff you put it back. We recognize what you picked using, again, computer vision and deep learning and so forth. So again, when you think about what artificial intelligence does to various things, it's actually kind of mind-blowing. So let's dig one layer, let's double-click and go one layer deeper. How do you build these AI systems? At a high level, this is kind of pretty straightforward. There are 3 steps to it. One is you collect lots of data, and then you train a machine learning, deep learning, or AI, whatever algorithm, using the data you have collected. And then you build a model and start predicting. It sounds reasonably straightforward. In reality, it's actually pretty hard. The challenge for AI, it comes down to a scale. So you need a lot of data when you are actually talking about predicting, like building some of the best natural language understanding system or speech recognition system and so forth. So depending on the domain you are trying to solve, you might need petabytes of data, and then you might, or terabytes or so forth. So if you are, the nice thing, and this is where cloud comes in with scale. So if you are actually looking for a place where you need to store petabytes of data, cloud storage services like S3 is an easy place for you to put in data. If you're actually trying to build state-of-the-art fraud detection system and you're an e-commerce retailer, then you can actually store your data in Redshift or any other database system and actually start using that data to train your machine learning models. Now that you have your data, now let's talk about how do you actually train these machine learning systems to do this. So again, based on the algorithms you pick, they might need GPUs or CPUs or FPGAs or so forth. So again, with respect to building a scalable training system, this is where cloud again helps with respect to this. In AWS, again, we have GPU instances that you can actually use to build a distributed training system using any of the deep learning engines to do that. So, and the final one is you built this model, exported it, and then build prediction systems on top of it. So now let's look at what our customers have done using AI systems. So again, the stuff what I'm going to show is not actually what Amazon did, but what our customers have done using AWS today. So here are some of the examples. Again, it's an 18-minute talk, so I can't actually give the entire list. So here is a few I sampled. So I'll just call out a couple of them. One is like FINRA, who could actually play the entire trading history to do things like anomaly detection, sequence matching, and so forth. The other one is like TuSimple, which is rated to be one of the best autonomous driving system, which actually has built-in deep learning-based model using Apache MXNet on top of AWS to do autonomous driving. Again, Netflix is another one which has built a deep learning-based recommendation engine. So what is it? The promise of artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, is around innovation. You build new features for existing products. You build new experiences and product categories. I talked about Alexa, Go, and so forth. And the third one, which is even more exciting, is like breakthrough advances. So, for instance, in the field of medicine, again, we touched on it a bit earlier today. So, one of the leading causes of blindness among men is diabetic retinopathy. So, the interesting thing with this one is that few folks in Stanford actually, they came with the idea of using deep learning to actually figure out if this case has the potential to have this issue. The nice thing about this use case is that if you detect it early, you can actually save the eyesight early on. So this is an example where it is super hard for a doctor to spot it on just a manual scale, whereas using this as an assisting technology, they will be able to figure out which one should I take a second look. The other one is that I've shown here is an FDA-approved medical imaging system where you could detect blocks in arteries. Again, this is a deep learning-based model built, and these are actually researchers and startups. These are not big enterprises actually having an army of data scientists or actually in their own data centers or so forth. Again, this is where cloud and AWS has come in to help innovators go innovate. So again, we touched on autonomous driving system. I explained briefly about TuSimple. So here is an example of a model that they built where, again, it uses live detection of objects, cars, and tracking of the trajectory of people and so forth. This is, again, I put it in the category of advances that are enabled. Now let's switch to enterprises, right? Like recommendations and ranking at Netflix is done through deep learning. They have a public blog detailing what they have done in this space. And the interesting thing, what they have done is that when they expanded to 140 new countries simultaneously, all they had to do was basically rerun the models across a new set of data and then turn it on day one. So imagine the potential for building these systems and scaling it out. Again, the combination of deep learning technology with cloud, data store, and compute has been super powerful. So we always say the future of AI is already here. Everybody is using it. But in reality, while the future is here, it's not just accessible to everyone. I mean, you still need data scientists who are very deep with knowledge of deep learning, or you need specialized, compute capability or understanding and so forth. So this is where Amazon AI comes in. So the goal with Amazon AI is kind of like what AWS did with IT industry. So which is to make it easy for people to consume these technologies in a utility fashion. The same way, we want to make all these AI technologies accessible, kind of democratize AI for various layers. So what do I mean by that? So the number of people who know machine learning is actually probably very small, but there are a lot more app developers in the world today. So the way to approach it is, in Amazon, we always work backwards from customers. And when you work backwards from customers to tailor what solutions to build, you have to ask a basic question: who is your customer? So in our world, there are three kinds of customers, starting from the top layer, app developers, who do not want to know machine learning. They actually want to do what is relevant for their business. They don't care if it is deep learning, whether the model is converging or am I overfitting. For them, this doesn't mean anything to them. They want to build a chatbot because their customers actually want an easy way to interact. The next layer is data scientists who are passionate about actually making things better. I want to build the state-of-the-art customer churn model or fraud detection models with the data sitting on S3 and Redshift and so forth. And there are AI engines which are catered towards machine learning scientists. These are folks with PhD in machine learning and wanting to build the state-of-the-art algorithm. So At the top layer, we have services called Recognition, Poly, and Lex, catered towards app developer. This is, again, Lex is literally what's inside Alexa. Again, this helps customers build voice and text chatbots. This is the same technology as what Alexa uses with speech recognition and natural language understanding. And it's already starting to get adopted by companies altogether. This is, again, shows how with well-crafted APIs, you can actually get them to be broadly adopted. We even had a demo of NASA's ROVI, which is a replica of rover, which actually was taking voice commands at stage to go forward and backward and so forth. So the other one is Parrot, or Poly. I used to call it Parrot, so that's why the slide still says Parrot. So it does text-to-speech with 34 languages and 47 voices. Again, used across various customers. One I would call out is Royal National Institute of Blind, which actually is a nonprofit that has 2 million, supports 2 million folks who are visually impaired to generate audiobooks across various languages. The final one is in visual image analytics and facial recognition service, which is used for real-time image classification and facial recovery. It's used by a lot of customers, all the way from C-SPAN, which actually has all these videos, where probably, how many of you have ever watched C-SPAN for more than 10 minutes? So see? So it turns out they're all very excited. What they would like is, let's say a certain politician is super interested in finding out, okay, what are all the videos and clips they were involved in the past 2 days? Earlier, it used to be the case that they had a bunch of manual systems to identify what existed. Now they can automatically detect who is in a particular video and then build a visual search and to make things move faster. It's the same thing with SmugMug, which is, again, an awesome photo sharing site that I use, and they are looking to do visual search with it and so forth. So again, the goal for these services is to make these AI technologies accessible without having to know anything about deep learning. The next layer is geared towards data scientists who actually want to be more hands-on. They understand what random forest is and what deep learning is and so forth. And they are interested in actually building their own machine learning model. So for that, we have Amazon Machine Learning, Spark ML, and so forth, that you could actually, it works with S3 and Redshift and so forth to do your own, build your own model of sorts. The final layer, this is where a big set of innovation is coming up as core deep learning engine. This is going to be the enabler for many of the breakthrough innovations that we talk about. Right from, so again, AWS is an open platform where we let people come in with technology that they are used to, and they can do what they want. We support Apache MXNet, TensorFlow, Caffe, and so forth for you to build your own deep learning innovation models. So I'll just call out one example. My team, coming from a distributed systems background, I'm a systems guy. I like scale-out systems quite a bit. So while we were experimenting with a bunch of projects, like I talked about Alexa or Go and so forth, for us, scale is important. We actually want deep learning engine to scale seamlessly. And so irrespective of whether we are running across 16 GPUs or 256 GPUs. So one of the things we made our team do, and the reason we have invested heavily in MXNet is because it actually has amazing efficiency with respect to being as good as IDEA. So with that, I'm going to stop. So when you're thinking about building intelligent systems, I mean, with the help of cloud, you'll be able to not only store the data that is needed for these systems, but you can train them, build inference in the cloud or at the edge. And with Amazon AI, we are hoping to continue to democratize AI so that it's easy for you to innovate and build amazing products that we have been talking about all day. Thank you.